Okay, so good afternoon, and thank you for attending our second of our G Suite webinars, formerly Google Apps for Education, or GAF, you might have heard it called before. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Kowalski, and I am a half-time technology integration consultant and Google certified trainer for REMC 3, and then my other half-time spent as a math consultant for COP. REMC covers AMA, Core, and COP ESDs. Our topic for today is going to be productivity with Google Docs. And before we get started, I'm going to ask if you will just go ahead and mute your microphone just so we don't have the background noise. But if you want to say something, please unmute and feel free to interrupt and talk and ask questions. You can also use the chat feature of Join Me. It is the little conversation bubble in the menu. So we will go ahead and, there we go, and get started. So it's up to you whether you want to just watch my screen. Everybody should be able to see it. It is just the Google, right now, the Google login. And you can either just watch my screen or you can open up the applications and try things as we go as well, whichever you choose. But please feel free to ask questions, share any experiences you have had, or give feedback throughout the whole entire webinar. If someone posts a question to the chat and you know the answer, please feel free to respond as well. And don't be afraid to interrupt by turning on your mic. So I'm sure that everyone is at a different level of knowledge with Google Docs. So there's probably going to be some things that I go over that you already know, but I am very hopeful that you're going to learn some features that you might not have been aware of. And also, if you have something that's your favorite, a tip or trick or feature, please share it with us. I'm always learning new things as well. So let's go ahead. So Google Docs is Google's word processor. It would be very similar to Microsoft Word, but it doesn't have quite as many bells and whistles. But we need to remember that it is also free. So to get to a Google Doc, you can do a couple of different things. You can either go to docs.google.com, or if you're logged into your Chrome browser, you'll see on my screen here in the right-hand corner, we have this we call a waffle. And if you click on the waffle, it's a three-way grid. You'll find Docs, and if you just click that, it will take you to the Docs home screen. This is where you will start a new doc. So from the home screen, you'll see a couple of things. We have names for everything here in Google. So this little three lines on the left is, we call it hamburger. That's where you'll find your settings or the help, or if you want to go to different applications, you can do it from there as well. And then you'll see up at the top, there's a plus sign, which is where you're going to start a new document. But there's also some templates in case you're interested in using any of those. And people often don't realize those are there or don't know what they're for. So where it says template gallery, if you were to click the arrow, it'll extend and it will show you a bunch of different templates that are available to use. There's some for essays, reports. If you keep going down, there's some set up for lesson plans, different types of letters, resumes, or just some personal recipes, different project proposals, or brochures. So if you're looking for a template for something, this might be a good place to start because these are here available for you to use. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back. Okay, so once you're back and you decide, just hit the back arrow. I'm going to hit this plus symbol, and this is going to start me a blank document. So if I hit that, now I have opened a Google Doc, a blank page. And so what's great about Google Docs is that you never have to save. Everything is saved automatically when you work. So your documents are available anywhere you have the internet, and there's no more emailing files to yourself or carrying around a flash drive. And another good thing is that multiple people can work on the same document at the same time, and you can see their changes in real time. It's perfect for taking notes during a meeting, Often at meetings that I attend, we just share the agenda. Everyone has the agenda, and then everyone has editing rights, which means everyone can go ahead and add to that same agenda throughout the meeting, and all the notes are kept in one place for everyone to see and have and share. So it's really good also for group projects because you and your team can be working on the same document from different locations and from different computers as well. So once you have a document open, like you see on my screen, to name a document, you just click up here where it says Untitled Document, and then you would name it here. So it's not like Microsoft Word where you file, save as, and you name it. Here you're just going to click up at the top, and I'm maybe going to call this November 29th doc. So now my document is named. If I want to change the name, I just click up there and I rename it. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind is if you do change the name, all it's doing is changing the name. It's not saving your original work that you did. So if you have a file and you want to keep the original, what you would do is you would go to File and you would make a copy. So this make a copy is going to create a new document, and you can rename that one and then make changes so that you don't affect that original document. There's been some confusion with quite a few people lately actually that have said, well, where's my original? I went and I changed the name and everything is the same as how I changed it. And I said, yeah, because you have to make a copy. So that's where you would want to go if you want to keep an original. But keep in mind, if you do that, if you make a copy, then when you start typing on your copy, if the original had been shared, now they will not see your changes because you have an actual new document. Okay. So if you want to share a document, I'm going to jump right into that before we get into some of the other things because sharing documents is one of the huge benefits of Google Docs, and that's what people really use it for a lot. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can either go to File and Share here, or if you just look up here in the right-hand corner, there's a blue rectangle that says Share. So if I click on Share, I have some options here. So when you share, you can just put people's email addresses and then it will share directly to those people. But on the right-hand side, you also have this little pencil with a drop-down. And so you have some options here. So you can give sharing rights so people can edit, which would mean that they can make changes to the document. They can comment, which would be they can't actually change it, but they can make comments or suggestions to the document. And then view only would be they can just look at it, they can't comment or make changes. So you have those three options when you share. You also have, when you share, it sends an email to the person letting them know this document has been shared with you. If you're going to share it with a group of people and you don't have their email addresses, you might just want to post a link that they could enter to get to the document. So to do this is so small people often miss it. So there's this advanced on the right bottom here. And if you click on that, you get some more options. So from here, right now I have it as private, which means only I can access it. I could invite people down here, specific people with their email addresses, or I could change this private. And I have some options. I can make it public on the web so anyone on the internet can find it. If I'm sharing with a group of people, I usually choose this one, anyone with the link, and then I share the link. You can also share it with just people in your organization or anyone in your organization with a link. So if I'm going to do anyone with a link, and then you can also change anyone with a link can view, they can edit, or they can comment. So I'm just going to do can view. And I'm going to save this. So now here's my link to share. So if you're going to post your link somewhere and you want people to access it so that they can get on that document, this is a really long link, right? So one thing that I often do is I just copy my link And then I go to Google's URL shortener, and so I bookmarked it. But if you just Google Google URL shortener, you'll find it. I'm going to go down to my bookmark here and Google URL shortener, and I'm going to paste that long link here, shorten URL, and now I have this very little short URL I can copy, and then I can paste wherever. I'm just going to paste it into my document, but you could paste it into a slideshow, a presentation, on an agenda to link to this, wherever you like. Post it on a whiteboard so people can just type it in and get to it. And then you highlight it, right click, and just link, and then it's there. So now if someone were to click on this, it will take them right to this document. So we're back to where we started. And so see now, if you look at the top, I actually have two of them opened. I have two tabs because I was already at it and I linked to it. So now it opened a new tab for me. So that's kind of a little shortcut. And if you want to share your document just using a link, and that's nice too, if you're pasting the link like on your website, you might want to do it that way as well. Any questions so far? You can type in the chat, you can ask. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. So another trick, so if you want to share a document with other people, but everyone needs their own copy. So you're worried that they're going to change the original and you don't want everyone working on the document together. You want everyone to be doing their own thing. So you don't want to see what other people are doing. You want every person to have their own original. So there's a little trick. What you would do is up in your URL here, if you look at the very end, it says edit. Okay, so if I go ahead and I just backspace this, and instead of the word edit, I write the word copy, what that's going to do is it's going to force people to make a copy so that your original stays untouched. So now what I would do is I would copy this link, and I'm just going to paste this link right here just so I can show you what, instead of shorten it, I just want to paste it so I can show you what will happen when someone goes to that. So I'm going to paste this. I'm going to link it by right-clicking and just link. Okay, so now when someone goes to this link, what's going to happen is it's going to say, would you like to make a copy of November 29th doc? So it's automatically forcing them to make that copy. So I make a copy, and it's called copy of November 29th doc. And I have that same document, but now when I type on this, it's not affecting the original. So it's like a new document. And so that's great for like if you had a worksheet or something that you made for the students and you shared out the link, you wanted everyone to do their own worksheet and you didn't want them all working on the same one, you would want them to make a copy. And so this is an easy way to force that copy to be made because, you know, there's always someone who doesn't follow directions and they just go ahead and start typing on it, and then everyone is seeing that and they're ruining your original. So that's a nice little trick to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and look under, I'm going to go back to my original document here. Look under File. We're just going to kind of explore a little bit what's here. So this is where you can rename your file. You can make a copy of your file. You can move it to a folder in your drive. You can get rid of it, move it to trash. Here you have the option to download it as a Microsoft Word document, rich text format, PDF. So those are really nice options. I use the PDF one a lot. So you can do that here. You can email it as an attachment. You can also change the language. So if I wanted my document to be in a different language, you could go ahead and do that here as well. Okay. So different options from the file. The next thing that people often miss, which is really pretty handy in Google Doc, is on the bottom right-hand corner. you see this little, it looks like a star, and it says Explore. What that does is it allows you to search the web or your images or your drive all without leaving your document. So then you can see your options, and it's great for like pictures because then you can just drag them over into your document, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. And then if you do click on something on the web to open, it will open in a new tab so that it's simple to get back to your original document. So let's go ahead and click that Explore button. I can show you how that works. So if I click Explore and I'm going to search my documents in the web, I'm going to just type in dogs. Okay, so now it's like I have the internet right here next to me, and I'm still on my Google Docs. So if there was just something I want to look up real quick, like a phone number, an address, I could just look it up right here, type it in, and I would never have to leave my page. Or if I want images, and I want to pull an image into my document, oh, I like this picture, I'm just going to drag it right over into my document, and that way I never have to, and then you can resize it, I never actually have to leave my document. I can just do it right all from one spot, which is really kind of handy. Or if I want to search my Google Drive, you can see pictures of my kids with dogs or anything that has dogs in it in my drive is easily accessible right here as well, right from the doc without even having to leave. If you do like you're on the web and you go scroll down and you say, okay, I want to look at this dog breed thing. So if I click on it, if you look at the, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to move this out of the way. So if I click on this dog breed, it'll actually open in a new tab at the top. So up here, it's loading in a new tab, which is really nice because now I can go ahead and read the information I want, and then I just click back over to my document, and I'm not back trying to search for it and find where it went and have lost it. So it's nice that it opens in that new tab as well. You can also find Explore not just from the bottom right, but if you look up in Tools, right here is Explore as well. And you can see that there's a shortcut, Control-Alt-Shift-I will also bring up that page if you're into the keyboarding shortcuts. So while we're on talking about the tools, another really awesome tool is the voice typing. So I'm gonna, oops. Okay, I'm just gonna move down so that we have some space. Okay, so if I go to Tools and I go to Voice Typing, a little microphone is gonna appear over here on the left. And if I click on that microphone, it is going to start to type exactly what I say. So I'm gonna click it. Now it's red, so it is typing what I say. So I don't actually have to type anything. I can just talk, and it will type what I say, period. New paragraph. Hello, my name is Heather, period. So, okay, I'm going to turn this off because I keep. So that is a really great feature for if you have students who are really slow typers, or if you're a multitasker and you just want to talk to your computer and be working on something with your hands. It really picks up your voice pretty well, and actually I'm finding using this microphone it's even better. So that's a feature that you might want to try out. Someone talked about having it kind of record meeting notes as they talked. It would type what you said as well, or if you were typing in goals, it would pick up exactly what you say. So it's kind of a cool feature. Also, I talked a little bit a second ago about keyboard shortcuts, but I just wanted to show you where you could find more of those if you were interested. So if you go under Help, it says Keyboard Shortcuts, and it gives you a list of all the shortcuts that you could use. So like Control-B. So if I go and I'm typing, I'm just going to hit Enter here. I'm typing, and I'm just going to hit Control-B and then type, and it's going to be bold. And if I hit Control-B again and I keep typing, now it's not bold. So it just saves you some time and some clicks. You don't have to go up to the toolbar. you can just go ahead and use the shortcut. So if you love shortcuts, there's a few there that are pretty nice you might want to memorize, and those would save you some time. Control U would be underlined, so it'd be the same kind of thing. So those are available. If you're interested in those, please check out the help menu there. Okay, so next is there any questions before? I feel like I'm just keep on talking a lot. Is there any questions before I move on? You can type it in the chat, or you can turn on your microphone and ask. Okay, if not, I'm just going to keep on going. So when you are working together on a paper, or even if you're editing student papers, there's a really great feature. So it's called suggesting. So when you're working on a document, I have to keep moving this little join me thing. Okay, so when you're working on a document, you see this little pencil up here in the right-hand corner, and it says you're in editing mode. So that would be when you're actually typing something and you're working on your document. If you change that to suggesting mode, now your edits become suggestions. So let's say a student shared their paper with me, and I'm going to edit it, and they have corrections that they need to make, right? So what you could do is turn on suggesting mode, and then you would go and say, okay, so maybe you're going to say, okay, hello, my name is Heather. Well, no, your name is Karen. Okay, so now it shows up green, and then over here on the right-hand side, it says, it's a suggestion, and it says, replace Heather with Karen. So the person whose paper it is, or who you're working with, if they like the suggestion, they can go ahead and hit the check mark, and it will automatically change it. So if I hit yes, now it's going to change Heather to Karen. Okay, if they didn't like it, they could have hit the X, and it would have just taken your suggestion away and kept it as is. So it even works for, so if I'm in suggesting mode and I want to add something to a student paper, so I'm going to say like, here or I would say, please put your name. It is nice to know who you are. Okay, so if I want to type it into someone's paper, okay, so then they would have the suggestion to add that. Now, you wouldn't want to add that, right? So they would hit the X, but they would know, okay, I should put my name. So they could X that out. Or if you actually typed a paragraph, like you were working on a paper together, and you wanted someone to know, like, this is what I think we should put here, but you didn't want to just go ahead and do it. If you add the paragraph that you want in suggesting mode, then your partner can just say, yep, I want it, accept, and then the paragraph appears there. You can also reply to people's suggestions, like, I don't really like it, but I do think we should put this, or whatever. So you can do that as well. So I'm just going to X this one because we don't want it. And then I don't want this one either, so I'm going to X this out. Okay, so that's suggesting mode. Then there's also commenting. Well, there's viewing, and then comments. So viewing would just be you're just reading it or printing it, but comments would be if you don't want to be in suggesting mode, but you want to add a comment. So I'm going to click comment. I can see all the comments that were there from the suggestions made, or I can just add a comment. If I just add a comment, you might say like, nice work, and then you're going to comment, and that's just going to appear as like a little sticky on the right-hand side. So if you're working with a student and you just want to compliment them, you can just put little comments on the side. Or if it's a problem, someone has a question, so they might write like, I don't understand this, you can actually reply to it, and then you can hit like it's resolved if the question was solved. So then the discussion hides. So then it goes away if you resolve it. But it is still back up in the comments. Okay, so those are some kind of nice features for working together so that you're not really changing the document without someone else knowing. So there's comments and there's suggesting mode. Because remember, the editing mode is where you're just actually changing the edits and they may not know where you made the change. So those are some cool features. Okay, so moving on, because we have about 5 minutes left. A complaint that I often hear about Google Drive in general is that the documents are hard to find. So I have a trick to kind of make it a little bit easier. So if you look up at the top of your document, you see next to the name there's a star and there's a folder. So if you hit the star, what that does is when you go to Drive, there are on the left-hand side, I'll just go to Drive real quick. So if I just go to Drive, just so I can show you, there is on the left-hand menu, it says Starred. So if I go to Starred, now I only find the documents that I have starred. So if there's something that you want to be able to find easier, or there's something you've been working on, you can star it and then it appears here. So you're not reading through all of those other files. You can also unstar it when you're finished. If you no longer want it right here, you can just unstar it. So that's a way to make it a little easier. You can also up here is the folder. You can move it to, and in your Drive, you can find all your folders, and you can put it in a specific folder, or there's this little folder with a plus sign. You can create a new folder to put it in. So that's another way to help keep it organized. So there are some things you can do to kind of make it so it's not so difficult to find some of your files. So also up here in the left, you'll see that there's this blue rectangle. Whenever you click on this, this takes you back to the Docs home screen. So this will take you back to this original. Okay. One other thing, which this might end up being a future webinar, but I just want to let you know that it is there. If you're looking to add some functionality ever to your Google Docs, you'll see this thing called add-ons. So what that is it's different things that you can add to your Google Docs. You see that I have a bunch of them already installed here. But if you go to Get Add-ons, it's like a store, but they're all free. You can add some different things to your docs. So like one of my favorites is this EasyBib. This creates a bibliography for you right in your document. You can search for your book and it will format it. It has all different ways. You can do MLA, APA, Chicago, and that will actually make it formatted for you correctly, like in a couple of clicks. It's so simple. So that's one that I have added. Easy Accent, Easy Accents right here is another one. If you teach Spanish and you are always putting accents onto your words, that might be one you want. There's Template Gallery if you're looking for additional templates, highlighting tools, calculators, more fonts. Labels. If you do label merges, there's the Avery Label Merge add-on. Hello Sign for signing documents. So there's just a ton. So if you're looking to add functionality, these might be some things that you want to look through. Like I said, maybe we'll do a future webinar on that, because I've actually done half-day PD on just add-ons because there's so many great things that they can do. But I wanted you to be aware that they are there. The last thing before we go, I know we only have a minute or so left, is that I wanted to let you know about the offline capability of Google Docs. So if you add the Google Docs app to your phone, then you can use the Google Docs offline as well as online on your phone. But then there's also, if you go to the Chrome browser, and you have to do this stuff when you're online in order to be able to get access offline, if that makes any sense. So if you go to your Chrome web store and you're looking for the Google Docs extension, it's called Google Docs Offline. And I already have it installed on mine. So it's probably not going to show up, but I can show you it in my, anyway, you'll go here and you'll add the Google Docs Offline extension, and I'll show you what it comes up looking like. It looks like, right here, Docs. So it will look like this. And so if you install that to your Chrome browser, okay, and then in your Drive, so in your Drive, if you go to your settings, over here, the wheel is your settings, and you go to settings, there's going to be, it says offline, and you want to make sure you have checked sync Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, drawing files to this computer so you can edit offline. So you want to have that checked. And then you also, within your docs, if you go to the hamburger, there's settings there as well. You want to make sure that that's clicked over to the right for offline as well. So then you can actually edit or access those docs offline, and then when you go back online, your edits will sync and they'll be updated. So those are some things you might want to do. And it does work really great on your phone too, so if you want to do that, so that you can work on them or access them, that's kind of a nice little feature. And so then if you're offline, obviously you don't have computer access, or internet access. So if you click on your web browser when you're offline, oops, I'm just going to click out of this. So you'll still be able to get the home page. Even though you're offline, you'll get this. And then you would go to this little waffle on the left-hand side, and that's where you would go to your docs offline, and you would be able to pull up your docs. So that is just a little trick. So we are past our time. I will stay on if anyone has any questions. I will post a recording to our website as well, and I will email it out to you so that you have it. But otherwise, I will see you January 15th for forms and slides. And I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. So thank you for attending. Have a nice night.